Alright, listen up everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
There we have confirmation on the email we received the other day. The technical regulations are changing for next season. Welcome back to the F1 2018 career mode here, guys. We have the Italian Grand Prix, and it's the 5th race in a row that's going to be affected by wet weather. But yeah, no, we're coming into Italy. No upgrades from us. Minor from Force India. Renault, Red Bull stay the same. Ferrari make a big leap to close in on Renault and Red Bull, and then both McLaren and Williams bringing an upgrade, and Sauber closing in on Haas.
The pit lane will be open shortly, which means it's nearly time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza.
So here we go then, qualifying, and this is going to be our fastest lap of the whole weekend. We nearly get 230 miles an hour out of the car into the first chicane, and that was that's maximum. I mean, that's maximum power upgrades. I think all I'd be able to do to get any quicker than that is to run 1-1 wings, which we're not doing. But yeah, absolutely going to be fastest lap of the whole weekend as we charge down towards the second chicane now. Our first lap got us P4. What can our second lap get us as we just try and straight line the curves as much as possible? Lost a little bit of time in my personal opinion coming out of that second chicane, and then through a Lesmo 1, you've got to wait for the front end to stick, then you can jump on the power. Lesmo 2, you've got to try and tuck it in as much as you can. Try not to run out too wide or you will kiss the gravel and lose speed. Now charging down the hill, then back up it again underneath the old circuit towards Ascari. It's all about momentum through Ascari. You've got to try and carry the speed through the first corner and then just keep on the speed through there, utilising the exit, and that was much better than the last time around. We are over 7/10 of a second up on our personal best time, saving a little bit of ERS on the back straight so we can boot it out the final corner, which is Parabolica once again. Wait for the front to come around, then boot it up to hot lap mode. It's over 8/10 as we charge towards the start finish line. What sort of lap time is it? It's a 1:17.8, and I felt very confident with that time. However, we have plenty of time left in the session, and it is a short lap, so I wanted to try again. So let's give this a little go, shall we? Going over the start finish line, and let's see what we can do on our final lap of the session. Loads of cars coming out the pits though to potentially have a run, but on the brakes nice and late. Carried the momentum through the first chicane even better, and we're already a 1/10.5 up on our delta. Could we see a 17.5 as we charge down towards the second chicane? Ocon in our way. Hopefully he will move out of our way only just, and we carry so much speed up towards the second chicane, but we've got it wrong across the curbs. A big slide nearly in the gravel, and unfortunately that cost us a little bit too much time on there, but that's our time. Let's get into the race at Italy.
The Italians love their cars and they love their racing. And of course, they love it here at Monza. Home race for Ferrari, of course, who've had 18 wins here since 1950. But you know, there's not been so much luck for the locals in the cockpit recently. The last Italian driver to win this race was back in 1966. So what now? I think it's time to make some more history here today. With the rain coming down here at the 3.6-mile Monza circuit, the low drag setups preferred by most teams could cause them some problems in today's Grand Prix. So watch out for cars struggling for grip around Parabolica, the last and most demanding of this track's 11 corners. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the captain. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and the captain completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Vettel, Nico Hülkenberg, and Ricciardo, Sainz, Gasly, Stroll, and Max Verstappen. Hartley, Grosjean, Marcus Ericsson and Leclerc, Raikkonen, Alonso, Kevin Magnussen, and Stoffel van Dorn. Ocon and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
There you saw it. Bottas pipped me to pole position by 0.04 of a second, and also Esteban Ocon starting P19 while we are right up the sharp end. Let's see what we can do in the torrential rain with the full wet tyre around Italy as we build with the lights. 5 are on for the Italian Grand Prix. Not hold for very long until lights are out. Away we go. First time I've been using this full wet tyre in a long time. We go behind Valtteri Bottas. That opens us up on the right hand side for Sebastian Vettel. We haven't raced a Ferrari in a hell of a long time. We moved to the inside to cover him off. However, there is a Renault of Nico Hülkenberg right there as we just about scrap our way through the first chicane. Thankfully, Valtteri Bottas has managed to get away, so he leads the Grand Prix. Comfortable gap back to myself in second position. Then we have Nico Hülkenberg in third, Sebastian Vettel down to fourth. Then there's a Red Bull, so it's not gone very well for the Force India boys straight away whatsoever. Of course, low drag setup, full wet conditions here around Monza for 27 laps of us basically trying to not stick it in the wall. Bottas with a 31.4. We're on a 31.5. Vettel on a 31.4, fastest lap of the race. All the pace appears to be pretty consistent in these conditions. So it's just a matter of doing what we can, making sure we get points, because Ocon is not going to have a good weekend here. I've already got that feeling. We move on to lap 3. Bottas pulling away from me. And we are just trying, running the standard mix, of course, because once again, in the rain, I'm not really using too much on the fuel. But Hülkenberg is going to have a little look at us in the wet weather down towards Ascari. That's brave of you, Hülkenberg. We hold it around the outside. I've had to take to the curb to retain the position there. I don't think that's going to cause too many issues. I mean, all 4 wheels, strictly speaking, off the track, but nothing from the FIA. We now move on a little bit later. Looks as if there's a big old scrap going on between Vettel and one of the Force Indias. That's Perez setting a 31.0. So Perez now fighting his way up into third place, looking potentially very competitive later on in this Grand Prix. We take a big old cut then to lap 11. We've done a personal best of a 31.3, but we're still not on the pace of Bottas or Sergio Perez as we cross the line. Now we do the fastest lap of the race of a 30.9. So we found some speed on that lap. We had to use some fuel to do it though. But now we're diving into the pits for our one and only pit stop of the afternoon. Considering Belgium, we went the whole race without changing tyres. I don't really want to be doing that again because we saw how badly that worked out before. But I'm in, Perez is in, and there's a Ferrari in the pits as well. Hopefully we don't get held and lose time. No, we don't. We are able to be released without any kind of loss of time. Bottas still leads the way in the Mercedes, and Perez retains P3. Looks like the Ferrari retains P4. Here comes Esteban Ocon. Up into P2 is Ocon from P19 on the grid. So I wonder if Ocon, because tyre wear normally isn't too much of an issue here in Italy, I wonder if Ocon's going to give it a go. Like he did in France, remember? Almost everyone did a 2-stop. Ocon did a 1 on the intermediate tyre. Is he going to try and pull off a no-stop here? Now that would be impressive, as Perez is going to try and have a go at us into the Ascari chicane, but no, he doesn't quite make the move stick. And we did get a message there from Jeff. Apparently the heavy rain will stop and it'll transition to light rain, but who knows what that means overall for the circuit, as Perez sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix of a 30.5. So he's on my tail and he's lapping pretty damn quickly, and we can't reel in Esteban Ocon for whatever reason. I'm trying to, but we're going deep into the first chicane, so that's not going to help us. And Bottas has disappeared completely. I wonder if Bottas is going to try and not make a pit stop. Now, that'd be mighty interesting. I wonder what's going to happen with that, especially if the rain is allegedly going to ease off as we use all the track and a little bit more coming out the Ascari chicane, giving it everything. Perez, of course, in our slipstream here. Can he get close enough to try into Parabolica? Answer is no, but can he follow me and maybe have a try into the chicane on the very next lap? But let's monitor the gap now. We've got less than 10 laps to go, or 10 laps if you include this one. It's a 30.3, fastest lap of the race, and gap to Ocon exactly 2 seconds. So
think about going down to mix 1 and lifting early into the corners.
Jeff just banging on about the fuel and how it's critical, and yes, I can worry about that later, Jeff. Don't worry, as we set again fastest lap of the race, 30.1, gap to Ocon down to 1.2 seconds. And now he's congratulating me for a fastest lap of the race, even though last time around he was telling me off for going too quickly. But either way, we're going to try and close down to Ocon and get a Mercedes 1-2, which all things considered you'd think we would have had so far this year. But Perez now, first man to dip into the 29s, a 29.8 from the man behind me. As we now move on to lap 21, it is Ocon, myself, then Perez. I'm a Mercedes in a Pink Panther sandwich. Valtteri Bottas is about 4 light years down the road, but we're still not looking great on fuel, so we're going to turn it up though and have maybe a go at Ocon. This is the closest we've been, 0.4 of a second. We have the slipstream. It's 220 mile an hour in the pissing rain, and we think about it, but we just move back onto racing line. Don't need to be going for dive bombs into narrow chicanes like the one we have here at Monza, but give it a little while longer and we'll build up for it. So once again, here we are, rich mix, hot lap mode going, and now we're right up behind the Force India. Now if we get a better run through Parabolica, we can get tucked up behind the rear wing of Esteban Ocon, and now we can make the drive. Now we can try and make a move with him. We're much closer than we were before, only 0.2 the gap now. Look at the slipstream effect with overtake mode. There we go, straight past the Force India, back up into second place. Valtteri Bottas has unfortunately gone down the road, and we have been, we just got it slowed down for the chicane, especially the second part there. But yeah, no, Bottas is long gone apparently. What is the gap to Valtteri if we're going to be able to get that at the second sector? Ocon is in my slipstream. Might he have a go into Ascari? He's going to think about it. Gap to Bottas, 31 seconds. There is no way that man has made a pit stop and got that gap on me. And Ocon's gone wide, actually. We got a yellow flag at the chicane. Let's see what happened there. I was too busy focusing on the gap to Bottas. So here we go. Ocon's going to try and make a move down the inside of Ascari. No contact made between me or his teammate. He's just aquaplaned and gone off and been very slow in rejoining the circuit. So Ocon's now dropped down behind Perez and the Ferrari, actually, as Perez now tries to have a go into Ascari. He's made the best attempt of anyone so far, but he's on the brakes early. We squeeze him as we go through the corner, and we have to counter steer midway through Ascari. So we're still battling out, myself and Perez, like a year ago at this circuit. But Vettel up into fourth, doing a brilliant job for Ferrari. Valtteri Bottas has won the race by a country mile, by, I assume, not making a pit stop the whole all afternoon. We've defended successfully into Ascari for the final time as we skate round the corner still. We've still got a straight and the Parabolica to go, but not really much to show you in this Grand Prix, especially from the first part, but a bit of battling with the Force Indias late on. But of course the race in Monza tends to go by pretty damn quickly. But through the Parabolica successfully, Perez can stay in second. I'm going to be coming through for second place, but we've got more points than Ocon, and we finally get a Mercedes 1-2.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
So there we have it. That was the Italian Grand Prix, and I was right in saying Valtteri Bottas did not make a pit stop at all. Started first, didn't stop. His fastest lap was even quicker than mine, and he ended up nearly 37 seconds down the road. Fantastic drive from the level 200 Porridge boss himself. We'd brought home in second place for that Mercedes 1-2, fending off a late race charge from Sergio Perez, and Sebastian Vettel finally getting his due with some Ferrari upgrades, getting P4 back on form for the German. Esteban Ocon came up from 19th on the grid after a grid penalty with no pit stops to finish in 5th. There was a gaggle of them actually. Ocon did it, then Hülkenberg also did it, and looks like Raikkonen did it as well from 15th. So Hülkenberg lost out from P5 due to purely just probably the speed of Ocon, unfortunately. But Yeah, not too sure what happened because he finished like 6 seconds down the road from us, considering he was trying to pass me into Ascari. But like I said, they're Raikkonen's 7th. Ferrari looking to come back on form. But Carlos Sainz there for Renault making a pit stop there. He got 8th place. Not too bad from Carlos Sainz. Probably would have been higher up the order had he not made a pit stop. And then to round out the points are the 2 Toro Rossos of Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley. But wow, Gasly finished near 7 seconds up the road from his teammate and also made a pit stop. That's not going to look good for poor Brendan Hartley. But Drivers' Championship standings, that puts me 60 points. We are 2 race wins ahead now of Esteban Ocon. And somehow Daniel Ricciardo holds on to 3rd place. But Valtteri Bottas, 155 points now, closing in on the Australian. But yeah, the championship is looking all but ours at this point after we've just dumped some effort into this Mercedes car and made it just an absolute juggernaut that we're used to it being in real life. Mercedes this weekend break the 400-point barrier, 405 points compared to Force India's 339. We're looking very, very good at the moment. And, you know, we're on a surge of momentum with the victories. And these wet races might just be a blessing. You never know. Anyway, let's chat with Claire.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You must be happy with the result today.
Definitely. I think all things considered, my performance in the wet to get a 2nd place. And even though we were that far behind Valtteri, it's because he didn't pit. So, you know, it's all good.
How did your team respond to the poor conditions today?
I think they did well. They were wise to split the strategy. Maybe they could have given me the no-stopper, but is what it is.
That was an epic battle today. How do you think this will play out?
Between me and Bottas? You mean the guy that destroyed me? Right. I'm going to win anyway.
Do you still have a lot to learn before you're at the same level as your rival?
How many more points do I have than him in the championship? I'll wait. Over 100.
Appreciate your time.
I'm like world champion elect, and Bottas can't even get past Daniel Ricciardo, who hasn't had a solid result since about Canada. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the Italian Grand Prix here, guys. Bit of a short one. Some of these recent ones have been slightly short ones, but there's been less stuff to show you, really. It's only sort of if I've been in the pack, really, to show you what's going on. Next time out, we go to Singapore, so that's not really a good circuit for me. But then we move on to tracks that I do quite enjoy. We get Russia, we get Japan. I'm not too sure on what the order is at the end of the season because I'm awful, but nonetheless, we'll be moving on to that sort of territory and that part of the world. I hope you have enjoyed. Leave a like if you did and comment any feedback down below. Remember to subscribe and enable them notifications to be kept up to date with the content that comes to the channel. And I will see you all next time.